Welcome to the channel and join us on another epic motorcycle adventure as we ride through some of the most breathtaking and mysterious locations in the American Southwest. In this video, we explore the north rim of the Grand Canyon, a hidden gem that offers stunning views and fewer crowds compared to its more famous counterpart, the South Rim. We then venture into the rugged beauty of Zion National Park, where nature's awe-inspiring landscapes meet adrenaline-pumping motorcycle routes. But the adventure doesn't stop there. We take you through the remote and eerie Area 51, known for its UFO lore and secretive military history, all while uncovering stories of abandoned places and ghost towns along the way. Glen Canyon is a jaw-dropping canyon, and it is carved by the 170-mile-long Colorado River that terminates at Lee's Ferry near the Vermilion Cliffs. Here you will find the Navajo Bridge Interpretation Center. It's a natural corridor between Utah and Arizona, and it's the only place in 700 miles that you can actually drive, or in our case, ride over the Colorado River. This marks the start of the Grand Canyon, and from where the river runners launch their boats. We've just entered the Navajo Reservation, and we are looking at the state of Arizona Navajo Bridge from 1927. It has an arch of about 616 feet with a total length of 834 feet. This gorge is absolutely spectacular. I am really enjoying the North Rim. You can see people down there floating the river. I'll get a better shot when we walk along a little bit more. And all through this area is called the Vermilion Cliffs. What do you think, Johnny? I think it's absolutely the best view yet that we've had. Yeah, this is amazing. Just amazing. Jonathan's gonna start howling too, probably. Just upstream is the original ferry crossing site with several historic buildings that were used in the past by miners, settlers, Native Americans, and tourists from 1872 to 1928. There are 2 stone buildings, a steam boiler, and the remains of a sunken paddle wheel steamboat from the efforts of Charles Spencer's attempt to extract gold from the Clay Hills in 1910. The Lonely Dell Ranch is a historic site named for its remoteness that was once home to families who operated the ferry, that played a crucial role in expanding the American West, linking the northern and southern territories and enabling commerce and communication. Here at the Cliff Dwellers Lodge at the base of the Vermilion Cliffs, it has an original homestead next to Soap Creek, where a small trading post was established in 1920. The unique rock house still stands, and the community received its name, Cliff Dwellers, for its location along the cliffs by the cowboys driving their cattle. The Vermilion Cliffs are steep and deeply eroded sedimentary rocks up to 3,000 feet high, made up of sandstone, siltstone, limestone, and shale over millions of years. Erosion has exposed hundreds of layers of this richly colored flat-topped rock. Settlement here dates back 12,000 years with Pueblo ruins and remains of villages, including the petroglyphs that are believed to be among the oldest in the United States. The first explorers into the region were Spanish missionaries in 1776, and later the Mormon explorers of the 1860s. But older than all of this is something I love most, and that would be the dinosaur trackway of more than 1,000 densely packed dinosaur footprints from around 190 million years ago. And then there are the condors, yes, condors, that have been reintroduced and released here since 1996. and today a number roost on top of the Vermilion Cliffs.
So just to put it in perspective here, way over there is the south side of the Grand Canyon. That's where we were yesterday. We are now on the north side of the canyon, which is stunningly beautiful. The drive to it is amazing, much nicer than the south side. And honestly, I think most of these rock formations that you can see are closer to you, and you can see the amazing geology that's there.
The scenery and the epic views were astounding. The route rises to almost 9,000 feet as the road twists turns, and just when you think it can't get any better, we ride back in the opposite view and the excitement starts all over again. The North Rim offers a quieter, more secluded experience compared to its more popular South Rim counterpart, and it sits 1,000 feet higher. And it's known for its cooler temperatures, lush ponderosa pine forest with fewer visitors that venture here, and it makes an ideal spot for us today. Riding back into the area, Lee's Ferry has an interesting story with Captain John D. Lee, a complex character and a Mormon pioneer and practicing polygamist, settled here with 19 wives and 67 children, and was executed by a firing squad for his role in the Mountain Meadow Massacre. And he was the only member of the LDS Church that was ever held accountable. 120 men, women, and children died that day, and the incident was covered up for almost 2 decades before Lee was brought to trial, claiming he was acting on the orders from high up in the church. It was a time of great tension between Mormons and the rest of the United States, and to this day the reason for the attack is still unclear. Emma, Lee's wife, who was a formidable pioneer, maintained ferry operations until it was later purchased from the church. In the later years, modern transportation and construction of the Navajo Bridge downstream in Marble Canyon rendered the ferry obsolete, bringing this story to a close. Tonight, we have booked our stay at Zion Ponderosa Ranch Resort, and it's a nice winding road up to the site that offers all sorts of camping and cabins with a restaurant, a pool, and lots of organized excursions from the location. As for us, we have opted to glamp it in one of their tent sites, and I'm looking forward to a long, cool shower. Glamping last night with Ksenia and Sasha was a real treat. They just happened to be on their own road trip, and we were lucky to connect in the same area of the country. Safe travels to both of you as we head off this morning, and we will see you back home in Canada soon. As we ride into Zion, the park entrance was a little busy, or let's just say it was really lined up and backed up, and we were just about to turn around and change our plans, and the line started moving, and we were waved right on through in their effort to get traffic clear. I'm happy with that, and we are here on the winding red canyons and spectacular cliffs that feel like they go on forever. About 8,000 years ago, the ancestral Pueblones were replaced by subtribes. The first European fur trappers explored this area in the 1700s, and then the Mormon farmers from Salt Lake settled in the Virgin River region in 1847, and this area was occupied by Native Americans. In 1863, a log cabin was built on the floor of the canyon, and the area was named Zion, which is Hebrew for sanctuary, and was farmed until 1909, and the park was established in 1919, today attracting approximately 5 million visitors yearly. The Mount Carmel Highway can be traveled all year with a 1.1-mile curved mountain tunnel from 1930 that is carved into the rock with only a couple sections of natural light, and it's eerily black and feels a bit daunting. Tunnel construction began in the 1920s, and at the time of its completion, it was the longest tunnel of its type in the United States. The Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel and the highway provides direct access for travel between Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon, and Zion. Side route roads such as the 5-mile-long Kolob Canyon Road with shuttle buses that can be accessed, but they are often closed during the winter with the changing weather. Springdale sits at the western edge of the Colorado Plateau, where the Great Basin meets the Mojave Desert, on the doorstep of Zion at the south edge of the park. The town itself reminds me a lot of Jasper, Alberta. The original houses were built of rough-hewn logs and covered with mud. Roofs were made of willows lashed together and covered with bark and dirt. Few houses had the luxury of glass panes for windows. Clothing and tools were largely homemade, and because there was little commerce with the world outside, Springdale residents were almost totally self-sufficient, and of course settlers were constantly alert to the danger of hostile Indians or ravages of nature from the form of raging flash floods, droughts, or rock slides. Springdale remained a sleepy Morgan agricultural settlement until around 1912, when the roads improved and groups of tourists were arriving, and Springdale would change forever. Route 93 is called the Great Basin Highway, about 100 miles north of Las Vegas. It follows broad valleys between the state's many barren peaks and takes us over mountain ranges. Nevada is known as the most mountainous state in the lower 48, and it will definitely catch you by surprise with its striking views of desert beauty.
Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run.
From here, we are headed across the desert and through the company mining towns along the way.
If all the things you never show, there are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart so slow.
Riding in this stunning landscape is an unbelievable privilege that I wish everyone could experience in their lifetime. The colors of the desert around you is mesmerizing, and the road in front of you disappears into a scene from a painting at every turn and crest of a hill. Whether it's on a motorcycle or any other vehicle, it is a trip of experiences that shapes who we are, where we came from, and most importantly for me, it lets us connect with the beautiful people in an amazing and diverse country. Being Canadian is important to me, and understanding and experiencing America is equally important. I have family in both of these great countries, rich in culture and history.
But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Here we go.
As Dry Lake Valley comes into view with its bright desert sands, this 160 square mile area is covered with a mix of windblown silt and dust devil swirls today that seem to glow in the Nevada sun. The constantly shifting sands from the wind and water have accumulated over thousands of years and form a valley floor to a depth of over 1,000 feet, and this is one of the other areas that grow one of my favorites, the Joshua tree.
never really know what's going on. And even when you're next to me, I feel like you were gone. It's all the things you never show. They're all the things I want to know.
This little place is called Rachel, and it is literally the only place along here for gas in the desert. And if you ride about a mile back, just the way we just came, it's the turn off, and you go about 4 miles down that road, and that's the guard shacks and everything for Area 51. We are here, and this is actually called the Extraterrestrial Highway. So we have alien cowpoke here, and kind of fun.
Over here.
When they say low-flying aircraft signs on the highway, they really mean it. I am thankful I had my helmet on, and even with that, everything shook, and I was still trying to cover my ears. Riding through the hot desert was beautiful, and very few cars on the route. Thankfully, we kept the gas tanks topped off because it's easy to go 300 or 400 kilometers without hitting a gas station. This area is all open range, and we slowed right down at the time with moving cattle on the road, and some of those big bulls were pretty darn scary. Warm Springs is an abandoned settlement from 1866. And only a couple buildings remain in this former town in the Tonopah Basin. We are at the junction of US Route 6 and State Route 37, and it's about 50 miles east of Tonopah. The water pools here are warm, which gave the town its namesake, and was originally a stopover for stagecoaches and travelers. A post office was built in 1924, and in later years the population dwindled before becoming a ghost town. Keeping us on our toes as we ride into the setting sun, it truly is so beautiful at every moment with the color changes on the horizon. We pulled over to add a second pair of sunglasses to our sun visors, but still had to ride mostly one-handed for any attempt to block the sun, as Jonathan disappeared between the free-range cattle. I still think this was the best choice versus waiting till dusk with those moving black road hazards. Join us back next time for part 10 into Yosemite, camping, and onto the ice caves of Northern California as we continue our ride towards home in Canada. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to live your adventure, and we will see you on the road.